Here on the Colour of Country Life. Great to be chatting with James Tierney from Riverina Livestock Agents. How are you, James?
Yeah, good, thanks, Ricky. Going pretty well.
And how's the market been going there? We know it's one of our biggest markets in Australia, cattle and sheep at Wagga Wagga. Has it been chugging along pretty nicely?
Yeah, fairly decent-sized numbers this week. We saw 3,400 cattle in the end yarded on Monday. Our cows held up reasonably well in comparison to what had happened in the previous week. We had the public holiday, obviously, the Monday before. So, look, our best cows made up to $3.78, with a lot of the good ones making $3.55 to $3.70. So that was pretty good. I think a lot of the rest of the market was probably 10 cheaper, and some of the restocking cattle, for whatever reason, they were erratic. They could have been 20 to 40 cents cheaper in places. So,
and what's the activity level from the restockers in the market? Are we seeing a fair bit there?
Yeah, there has been. It's been at some pretty big massive highs. I think there's just a little bit of reluctance there, just probably with people. Oh, look, a few things, I suppose. Economically, people would just be thinking about things, interest rates, etc., what's going to happen. And it does influence the confidence a little bit. So I just think there was a few absent on Monday that have been going. The other thing is the foot and mouth thing would be lurking in people's minds. So how much risk they want themselves exposed to, I guess, probably contributed to why some of those restocking cattle were cheaper on Monday.
Yeah, that's an interesting one on the foot and mouth, because it's sort of the first mention we've had that maybe even down at the stockyards there's a bit of a concern developing there, even though it's in Indonesia and not really been seen in Australia yet. The risk profile has been lifting.
Yeah, it has. And I mean, no one knows what it would do, but if it, and we all hope that it never happens, but it is these steers that have been making $2,000 plus, well, I guess if foot and mouth were to happen, you'd have to think that things would be cut in half price-wise. So there's a fair bit of risk out, particularly for non-breeder cattle, if it happens. So, and look, the chances may still be not that high that it will happen. But I think it's in people's minds, and with the rest of the market, I guess grain's getting dearer and dearer and dearer. So from a feedlotting perspective, that's getting more expensive. So that would be also influencing people's decisions.
Yep, and there's a fair bit moving through on the sheep front, usually is at Wagga, but what are we seeing in the trends there on the sheep side?
Yeah, look, we yarded 40,000 lambs and about 8,000 mutton today, and a very, very dreary old day here at Wagga. And it was soft. It was soft enough. There's been enough lambs yarded everywhere again across the eastern states this week. So a lot of lambs today are 5 to 8 cheaper. Best of the trade lambs are probably firm. Supermarket lambs sort of making the better run of them, making sort of 196 or 8 up to $215, which that part of it's okay. That's probably got an 8 in front of it per kilo. But a lot of your heavy lambs are sort of $7.40 or $7.50 a kilo, and the super heavies are less than that again. So the mutton was substantially cheaper. I actually had to go, but I just got a report from Tim Drum, and he tells me it's 25 cheaper.
Right.
I'm not real sure. I'm hearing that a major exporter might be having a few problems moving a bit of product into China, so that could be a reason for that just temporarily coming off. But yeah, it seemed like I'm told 25 cheaper. As I say, I did have to go before we sold the old sheep today, but it was that's a fairly big drop.
Yep, and there's a bit of a squeeze there, I guess, on the demand side, but I gather on the supply side, plenty of lambs coming through as well.
There is, and there's going to be too. I mean, look, I hope that Victoria and southern South Australia might back off a little bit in numbers, but I think around here there still seems like we've got plenty of lambs to go, to get through this winter period and probably get us all the way to suckers. And the lambs actually here aren't as good as what they have been in drier years. It's quite strange, really.
That is odd.
Yeah, it is.
All right, James, well, I know you've got some lambs you've got to look after there right now as well, so I'll let you take care of that, and it was good to catch up with you. Thanks for that report from the Wagga Stockyards.
No worries. Good on you, Ricky.